With brand new cars becoming more expensive by the minute, it's always really refreshing to be able to show you guys a car that's a lot more affordable. I'm at the 2022 Los Angeles International Auto Show, and this right here is the refreshed 2023 Nissan Versa. Let's take a first look. So the Nissan Versa has always been Nissan's most affordable model, and that doesn't change for the 2023 model year. So underneath the hood, you're gonna essentially find an engine that's all about fuel efficiency. This is the company's naturally aspirated 1.6 liter 4-cylinder double overhead cam, port injection. It makes the same power as last year's model, 122 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque. The cool thing about the Versa is in a world of electrification and no manuals, this is still offered with a 5-speed manual. You can still get it with a manual. That's how you get this to be one of the least expensive new cars you can buy. This model here has the CVT. The CVT is going to improve the fuel economy though, because this is rated at 32 in the city, 40 on the highway. It weighs in at around 2,800 pounds. Remember, this is a subcompact vehicle, and that's a kind of a segment that tends to be shrinking here in the US with everybody going to sedans. But let's go ahead and talk about the exterior styling of the refreshed Versa. Remember, this was all new, I believe back in 2019. I had a chance to drive this car when it was all new, and you can see it's got the new face of Nissan at the front. It's got a much larger V-motion grille. It actually kind of looks like, again, the refreshed Altima. You can see this SR version is the sporty trim of the Versa. You can see it has the new Nissan logo over there with the white outline. It's got that red sporty looking SR badge. It does look good, I must admit, with the black and the red accents. This one here also has the LED daytime running lights, full LED headlights, although the turn signal is an incandescent design. No fog lights, however. It would have been nice to see an actual LED fog light kind of complementing the entire front end. But overall, let me know what you think of the styling. Nissan actually has been kind of killing it lately with the design of their vehicles. I'm actually a big fan of how a lot of their newer designs are looking. Now, unlike the previous generation, which Nissan used to offer as a hatchback as well, the company is only offering the Versa as a sedan, and it's a relatively big sedan by subcompact standards. It has a 103.9-inch long wheelbase. Its overall length is 177 inches long. Remember, this is still about 6 inches shorter than something like the Sentra or a Honda Civic, but it's around the same length as a Toyota Corolla, and actually longer than the Toyota Corolla hatchback. Now, this SR trim, you can see the wheels are 17-inch wheels. They have been upgraded because it's been a refresh. These are riding on 205 50 are 17-inch tires. Remember, you can also get this with a smaller wheel and tire package if you guys go for the lower trim, and because it's a small car, you can see the wheels do look a little bit tiny compared to the rest of the body. The SR trim includes some things like these black painted side mirrors. Surprisingly, it has integrated turn signals, which make it look a little bit more upscale. You have black trim along the window trim. No sunroof here. I'm not entirely sure you can get a sunroof on the Versa. I'll have to double check the options list, but you can see here moving to the rear of the vehicle, it gives off baby Altima vibes, especially when you look at the taillight design. You have an all incandescent design for the taillight. I kind of wish that they'd gone with an LED somewhere, but you can see the SR includes this tasteful little rear lip spoiler. And then there's the orangey red SR badging here with the integrated parking sensors. There's actually some faux carbon fiber here along the more aggressive rear splitter. It almost seems like it's trying a little hard, but I must admit it's a rather tasteful looking sedan. But looking at the trunk, you can see it hasn't changed. It has around 15 cubic feet of storage space back here. The seats still fold down in a 60-40 manner. And then if you lift this up here, you can see it actually does have room for a temporary spare tire. This one here doesn't have it, but overall, still a relatively practical small car. Moving to the interior of the refreshed Versa, you can see for an entry-level car, I must admit, this thing is actually surprisingly nice. Now, first of all, you're gonna have manual seats. Don't expect to find power seats in here. And then the seats themselves on the SR trim, you can't get leather. It's only on offer with cloth, but I do like how it has kind of this orange accenting stitching, these orange inserts on the bolsters of the seats. The cloth feels relatively nice, although the padding is a little bit on the harsher side, but remember, this is an affordable car, so you can't really expect too much. There is a height adjustment for the seat, so I can manually increase the height for somebody shorter like myself, but in terms of the materials in here, it looks nice until you start touching it, where you can see hard touch plastic door materials. It is nice and padded and leather stitched over here, which is nice. You have a chrome accented door handle. You have one touch for the driver window, but everything else is not one touch. The window controls, they feel relatively average by quality. The dashboard, you can see here, hard touch plastic material, which is fine. This is, remember, an entry-level car. This is unexpected. You actually have a really nice padded area here with this genuine stitching along this lower part of the dash, which is nice. The steering wheel, you can see, has been slightly upgraded. You have their flat bottom design. It's got a tilt and telescoping design steering wheel, which is nice, so I can get comfortable in here. The Nissan logo in here looks a lot better. And then you have a lot of buttons over here. This car surprisingly comes standard with some good amount of driver assistance tech. So you have forward collision alert, you have automatic emergency braking, you have lane departure alert, and then optional will be blind spot monitoring with your cross traffic alert. You cannot get adaptive cruise control in this car, which is kind of to be expected, although some competitors are starting to offer that. You can see, just like in the Nissan Kicks, Nissan has kind of a half digital, half analog instrument panel here where the tach is digital. We can kind of change the way that looks by controlling the little buttons over here. And then the speedometer is analog. There's an 8-inch touchscreen over here, which Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is optional. You have to go for an upgrade package on the base trims to get it. But you can see here, for an 8-inch screen for a base car, it actually doesn't look too terrible. I like how there's a volume knob here, a tuning knob. You have single zone automatic climate control, and you have 2-level heated seats. You have 2 USB charging ports. And then Nissan also offers a wireless phone charging pad, which is kind of unexpected. That's nice to see. This controls the CVT transmission. And you can see here, there is an armrest here that's padded. You have a manual pull style parking brake over here with 2 cup holders. So again, no frills, but the car is still relatively nice on the inside. And then above me here, you can see no sunroof, but because of that tall roof, you have plenty of headroom space. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat, because this is where the old Versa was such a big strength. And I have to say, compared to the 2nd generation Versa, this 3rd generation model doesn't quite have as much legroom. Nissan says there's around 31 inches of legroom back here. If I remember correctly, the 2nd gen had like 40 inches of legroom. It was more than a maxima, but for somebody my height, 5'7", this is not where I'd have the seat to drive. It's a little bit further back, but you can see there's a decent amount of legroom, a good foot space. There's a hump here that will take up the middle passenger space. Surprisingly, there is one USB-C charging port, no rear seat air vents, one storage pocket. Then the materials back here, they're hard touch plastic. You can't expect too much with a vehicle like this. And then right here, you can see in the center, no armrest, sadly. But if you do need to fit average size adults, the Versa can certainly accommodate that. So with the average new car transaction price around $48,000, to be showing you guys a car that starts at $16,800 for the base S with a manual transmission is a really refreshing change. If you guys want an automatic, it's going to cost you almost $2,000 extra, about $18,500 to go to an automatic. This fully loaded SR trim is just under $21,000. That's right, 21 grand for a brand new car. You don't have to spend over almost $50,000 to get a new car today, which makes the Versa very enticing for those of you who are on a budget. Now, I should let you know that the 2022 Versa was about $1,300 less expensive. So Nissan did make this car more expensive, and this car is about $500 more versus the next least affordable or least expensive car, which is the Mitsubishi Mirage, which I have to admit, if it was my money and I wanted to go cheap, I'd much rather go with the Versa over the Mirage, but that's just a personal preference. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed this overview on the 2023 Versa for Redline Reviews here at the 2022 LA Auto Show. I'm Sofyan Bey.